y'all ain't getting nothing for free.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy, The Business, coming back at you live for episode 3 of The Business. Let's be real. Tonight's guest is going to be my boy, Herbs Too Fresh, someone I've been able to chop it up with on previous shows, and totally honored to have him on the show tonight because we're going to talk some sports. I haven't had a chance yet to chop it up with sports. I've been having some artists on that I was excited to have on, and now it's our chance to chop it up about sports, MMA, a little bit of NBA, some NFL. And I'm probably going to talk a little bit about the college football playoff that just got announced today. I'm going to go into some detail about that as well. But super excited for my guest tonight. Very big advocate in MMA. He's a big YouTuber and Instagram guy. He's also a gamer. He's a car advocate. He loves Honda Preludes. He likes to, bring them up and get them rolling, So super excited for the show tonight. But with that being said, The Business, let's be real. Episode 3 begins now.
Get my camera all right. Hold on.
You're good. How you doing, Herbs? Good to see you, man.
Good. How you doing?
Moving around, trying to get people intoxicated to start the show. I see you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you coming on tonight, big fella.
No, I need that wiped down. What I did was I had like a piece of tape over my camera, and I just peeled that piece of tape off.
You good? I can see you clear. You ain't got no issues. How you doing, big fella? You doing all right tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you on, man. I'm excited that you were able to get on with me tonight. I know you're a busy man. I know you be doing some things. So, for you to be able to get on with me tonight, I appreciate it, dude.
Man, I like talking about it. So let's just get into it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you run your show. I see you got a cool little intro and everything. So there's big things over here.
Yeah,
so you could just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Yeah, you can talk about what you want to talk about.
Well, I know that you usually, always every time you and I are chatting back and forth, we're always talking about the new up and coming UFC coming up or MMA. We were chatting earlier in the week about some people that were let go from UFC and they've moved on. So I think we're gonna get into all of that. If you wanted to get started with the UFC card from last night, we can chop that up and get started on that to go.
All right. How far back you want to go? Are you going back to the prelims, or
you can go back to the prelims? Go ahead and chop it up. I mean, I only caught minimal parts of the prelims. I wasn't able to catch it all.
Yeah, me too. I was about to say I didn't catch them all.
And then I caught the main show. So go ahead whenever you're ready. You can chop it up.
All right. Let me just. All right. I kind of watched it, but I didn't watch it. But I watched that Win versus Arroyo. As I just wanted to see what was going on with Win because he's DC's guy. He's that little short, stocky wrestler, and he still has no stand-up. He won the fight, but he did a lot of laying on the guy. Took him down, which is good, but he did no damage on the ground. So he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to stay in the UFC. He might be one of those kind of people that Dana might let go, especially because he was on a losing streak. And then Dana probably wasn't impressed by that win right there. So I don't know. I'm thinking that.
With Dana, the way Dana is that, you start getting on a losing streak, and I think that plays into part about the Yoel Romero that we were going to talk about. Yoel's still a great competitor. He's 43 years old, and he's been on a losing streak. And I think that with who you're talking about being DC's boy, I think that gives him a little bit of a pull to stay in the UFC. Because sometimes some of DC's fights aren't that entertaining as well. He's big at taking people down. grounding and pounding them. I mean, DC was lucky enough to step up his stand-up game though and get it going. So yeah, I think you're right. You know, if Homeboy's not going to look to come and bring the heat, you know what I'm saying? If he's going to take people down and just lay on them, he's going to have to drop bombs from there as well.
Yeah, because Dana hates those kind of people. He didn't even. I mean, I can't say he didn't like him, but he didn't like the way George St. Pierre fought sometimes when he was fighting safe, and he just doesn't like the whole wrestling. He doesn't like that, but it does work, and it worked for a while. I think it's one of the best things you can have, like when you grow up, is the wrestling, and then like you learn other things on top of it, because wrestling's really hard. Like, and if you can get through wrestling, you could probably do anything, like workout wise. You know?
That's true. That's why I grew up as a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know too much about my background, but you know, at the age of 3, I started wrestling. My uncle was a state, you know, wrestler at that time, and I was a little kid. It was their mascot of their team, and just kind of got into the game and grew up in the business of wrestling, and always had a big passion for wrestling. Always loved wrestling. You know, always studied it like an art form. Didn't try to get in there and abuse it and make it into a gladiator match where it was like, you know, I really did study the art form, and that's why I think I fell in love with MMA as I got older too, because of the fact that I knew that it was more than just 2 gladiators getting in a ring and just beating the tar out of each other. I knew it was really a sweet science, you know what I'm saying, that they used like for boxing in the same way. You know, it was a way of getting a good background to it, getting a base, learning how to control people, and then you know, being able to add on to things. You know, I'll have on in shows to come, you know, some old wrestling coaches. I did learn a form of karate called Shorin-ryu karate from Sensei Gene Thorner, who just passed away about a year ago. I will have his son on, Kane Thorner, as well in future shows, to kind of go over all that and just kind of let people know what it is that I truly know about, you know, the mixed martial arts game. And this is why I love chopping it up with somebody like Herbs, because Herbs, like he said, he wasn't in there and he didn't do it like that, but it doesn't mean that he's still not a student of the game. He still has always loved it, and that's why I like chopping it up with him when we do talk about this.
Yeah, you talk about those guys that, you know, just go in there, rock 'em, sock 'em. There used to be the Tank Abbotts of the world, you know.
Yeah.
They didn't really have much technique. It was just go in there and try to knock your head off.
Yeah, it was.
But those kind of guys fell off quick, because with wrestling, you could dictate where the fight goes. And that was, besides the jiu-jitsu, obviously, when Gracie came in and was beating all the big people when they had those freak show type fights with no weight classes, really, and you didn't have to wear gloves. You could do whatever you wanted. Yeah. Those were some freak shows. I mean, Gracie, he just used the technique over the power. And then people were like, oh, you can use technique on things. And then wrestlers figured that they can come in, take people down, dictate where the fight goes. Yeah. Then you have like the Randy Couture's that came in and dominated. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, wrestling's a good one to have. Arroyo, that's just all he has. And in this day and age, it's not enough. I mean, back then it was, you could be a champion. Like, he would have been champion back then, and he's not even anything now. Like, he's somebody that might be getting dropped out of the UFC. Yeah. So you can see the level has changed. Like, the UFC.
Yeah, you can't be a one-trick pony. I get what you're saying. Like, you can't stick to just one style and think that style is gonna. You're definitely gonna have to evolve, because the way of UFC and the way of MMA of today, in order to continue to grow and get better, is you got to be willing to adapt to other phases of the game, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you got UFC heavyweights that are fighting like featherweights now. Like, they got people throwing like high kicks, and they weigh 260 pounds, which would take us into this next one I want to talk about, which was like the main card. It was the first fight. It was Hardy versus, man, I don't even know the other guy's name, but I've seen the other guy fight. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew that it wasn't. I didn't understand how he was the underdog. I mean, he's got way more experience. He's got like 27 fights or something like that, pro fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, Hardy's fresh out of the NFL a few years ago.
Mhm.
He's just been training for a couple of years. That's kind of like what they did to Jay Schaub. I don't know if you watched The Fighter and the Kid, but
No.
Jay Schaub, Brendan Schaub. They put him up against that Roy Nelson, and Roy Nelson just slapped him around because he was just so much better. He fought for like 40-something fights before he even fought Brendan Schaub, and that was Brendan Schaub's like 4th fight, period. So I don't know. That's kind of what they did with Hardy right here. I don't know if the UFC likes him or what.
I don't know if they do either, honestly, because I mean, I've seen him fight a couple fights. He's always like
That last
causing chaos after the fights and stuff. And
the last fight,
go ahead.
a hard fight for him too. Like he barely got by on that last guy, wasn't it? The last guy, Urkanov, or that tall guy. He just got him, but I mean, they're giving him some hard people right away, and he hasn't even had pro fights. His first fights were they just in the UFC? Like he has.
Like I think he came straight out into that Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, did he have any?
Like came out into the Ultimate Fighter and then went into UFC right away after winning the Ultimate Fighter, which he was able to smash through the Ultimate Fighter. But that doesn't mean much.
Unfortunately, he has that stigmatism of like the woman beater thing because of the allegations he has out, which he denies. Like, and everybody around him says he's not that kind of a guy and whatever. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah. No, I mean, some guys are like that. It's unfortunate that even when you're not like that, you get that rap. But like I said, the personality that he is in the ring, people probably look at him like that. Once that allegation was made, they were like, he might be, what they're saying he is. So, I get that. He may not be. I don't know him personally, so I can't make a judgment on that. But I do think that they're not fond of his fighting style, and they are probably trying to throw him in with some guys that are gonna try to take it to this dude, because I mean he's a big athlete, he's strong, he hits hard, but I don't think he has the gas, and I think that was maybe his downfall in that fight last night. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he needs to cut weight. I think he already cuts weight to get to 266, but I mean, he needs to diet and run a lot, because I think he needs to fight at like 250 with his height and the way he's built. If he can just cut himself up a little bit more and like get some more endurance, he could be a problem, just because he's the most athletic heavyweight that's in the UFC. Just off the fact that he was a Pro Bowler in the NFL. He's got to be a better athlete than anybody in the UFC, because they're not that kind of athlete. So if he could put it all together, he could be a problem. Like, I don't see anybody being able to beat him if he had a gas tank. Like, this guy hits really hard. He's starting to get technique, but he thought he had the guy beat. He dumped his load out, and he fucking went into the second round. He even gave the referee, right before I went to the commercial, he looked at the referee, and he did like... And then I was like, oh shit, he's dead. And then he came out in the second round. He just got taken down. It was over. I mean, so I mean, I saw that.
I think that there were some, and I know you watched it. I think that there were some illegal shots to the back of the head, quite a few.
Yeah.
The referee said something about it early, but then didn't stop the next 4 or 5 that followed.
Yeah.
So I think that, at that point, like you said, he was gassed out. I think he was super tired. He just laid there and took those shots though at that point. Like, he was just laying on his side. He was covered up. Homeboy was trying to punch him in the side of the head, punch him in the back of the head quite a few times. And then the referee stopped the fight. It was kind of sad to see it go that way. But when you run out of gas, that's pretty much all you can do at that point, is just cover up and hope not to get knocked out.
That first round, he hit the guy with 7 in a row, right punches straight down the middle, like boom, boom. And they were calling it out. Bisping was calling it out. He was like, that's 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row. I was like, oh shit. He hit him 7 times in a row with this straight, and this guy didn't go down. And then that Hardy's been hitting everybody with that kind of shot, and everybody else has been going down. So that's what happens when you run into that person that's not going to get knocked out in the first round. Can you last in the second, the third, and then eventually make it to some championship rounds for main events and championship fights? But he's definitely not there. And let's face it, he's not young. So, I mean, I don't know how much longer he's going to try. If he's not going to be able to make it to a championship fight, losing to people like this, then he's probably not going to want to do it. So,
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Give me 1 second. Let me give a shout out to my boy Justin Standen, who I had on episode 1. He's coming on just saying, what up, homie? Been cranking out. He hit 135 sales today. When he was on the show on episode 1 2 weeks ago, he was at 60 sales for the Christmas time. He's at 135. He's pushing. I appreciate you, Justin, for jumping on, giving a shout out. But yeah, good luck, buddy. I'm glad you're doing well. I appreciate you. You know you're gonna be back on soon. So, all right, buddy. So yeah, I don't know where Hardy goes though from here. And you know, what I mean, they can, like you said, he's got to train. If he can get a gas tank, the dude's definitely going to be a contender. But he's got to get a gas tank because the guys that are up there, you know, that in those top 5 spots for sure are able to go for a while. You know, so I don't know. It's like
the heavyweight division isn't stacked. He could, if he could just get the endurance down, he could be a problem. But I mean, then you're facing people like Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to fucking face Stipe, and then it's just a problem, especially for somebody like Hardy, because Stipe could take him down over and over and over again.
And Stipe takes a good shot too. Stipe can get punched. I've seen him get lit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Stipe would just smack him around, throw him all over the fucking floor. It would be over.
Yeah. And Francis Ngannou, he don't want to face somebody that punches as hard as Francis. Francis punches hard.
He's scary. He's just as scary as Rumble Johnson, I think. I mean, the way he knocks people out, that Overeem, I think Overeem's head is still spinning in space.
He looked like a Pez dispenser. And when he hit him with that shot, he was like, bam, and his head just popped up in there. He looked like a Pez dispenser, but
he doesn't even need to throw any technique. So, I mean, as you've seen from the Rosenstrike fight, where he just kind of stormed him and knocked Rosenstrike. How do you say that? Rosenstrike?
I don't know either.
He knocked him out against the fence in like 5 seconds, so that shit was crazy.
Oh yeah, homeboy was just sitting there with his eyes open, but was knocked out like bam, 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 bam. I was like, ooh.
I guess the next fight on the card is Marlon Moraes versus Font.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to Marlon Moraes?
I know that's what's sad. I'm a big Marlon fan. I love what he was a couple years ago because you and I know he was a scrapper. He was always there. I mean, but I don't know. Go ahead.
The problem is, what do you think he's doing wrong right now? Because I have a couple ideas on what I see every time he fights. I mean, obviously he has this endurance issue, but what do you think the endurance issue is from?
I don't know. I think that, you know, it's possible that maybe the fame got to him, you know what I'm saying? And like it does to so many people, and it swallows you up, and it, you know, you start to partying and you just think you're going to be able to walk out there and you're going to be able to run through people, and it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? It unfortunately, the business just isn't like that. Like you have to prepare for each and every fight. You have to get ready. You have to run the miles. You have to fight the rounds and really prepare yourself. And it doesn't seem like he is. And I mean, I don't know what your take is on it, but I'll let you go ahead with that.
Well, not to take anything from Woodley with his whole, what did he fight at 70%? He said when Woodley pissed off Dana when he said he fought at 70%. He fights at 100%. Every shot, 100%. His leg kicks, he throws everything into it. And he's just used to knocking the people out in the first round. And once that's not happening anymore, he's gassed. And it's not even because he's out of shape. He's as ripped as you could possibly get. He can't get in any more good shape. His muscles are bulging out like he's already dehydrated when he's hydrated. So, I mean, there's no way he's not in shape. It's just he throws everything so hard when you watch him fight. His leg kicks, when they hit the people in the body, it looks like it's breaking them. But if it doesn't break him, that's where he runs into a problem, because second and third round, just like Henry Cejudo, everybody knows now because Cejudo kind of brought that out. If you could take his big shots and you can make it to the next round, you could pretty much take him. He has a glass jaw after that too. He has a jaw problem. I don't know if that's from cutting too much weight. He looks like he could fight in a couple of weight sizes up. He looks like he should be in 155. I don't know why he's fighting 135. The guy's big.
He is big.
I don't know if that maybe is the issue. I don't know how much weight he's cutting, but he's a big guy, and I don't know. He could be so good. Maybe if he just disappears for like 6 months to a year and then comes back like different. But
well, he was so good, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why, like, where he fell off at, because
Cejudo,
I mean,
3 knockouts in a row, horrible knockouts. Like he's getting messed up. Like he's getting concussions at the end of every fight.
Well, and the thing is that you know this to be true. Once you start seeing guys, and I seen it with my boy Luke Rockhold. I was a huge Luke Rockhold fan. When Luke was in Strikeforce, I was a huge Luke Rockhold fan because of the fact that he was big, he was strong, he could kick you, he could punch you. And then he came to the UFC and started getting beat up. And I was like, and I knew once he got beat up, you could just see the fear in his eyes that he was afraid to catch one on the chin. You know what I mean? Because he knew he had a glass jaw. All of a sudden, he was. And once you're standing back and you're scared and you're running away from the guys that you're fighting, and you're just going straight back, and Rocco would go straight back with his head straight up, and guys would catch him on the way out. And Bisping got him and then knocked him out against the fence, and
horrible.
And I mean, and I think, did Joel do the same thing too to him? And I mean, it's like a couple of people had knocked him out, you know what I mean? And it was just it was sad to see. And I think Marlon Moraes sometimes he may have fallen into the same kind of stigma of being afraid to get in there and take a shot, because that sometimes is worse than taking the shot itself.
The heavyweight champ beat him too. Blachowicz, he knocked out Luke Rockhold when he came up.
Yeah.
He's the champ now. So, I mean, at least you can't say he didn't get beat by like a bum or anything. He got beat by a champion. So,
yeah.
But I don't know what he's going to do. He's the kind of person that, like Weidman, he's the kind of person that Dana's going to let go. Doesn't Weidman have a fight coming up? I think he may have a fight come up. And if he does,
Weidman's kind of.
If he doesn't win, he's out.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm like, Weidman's kind of falling off for me as well. Like, I always pick on Dana about, how much he pays people and shit like that. I always feel like sometimes these fighters get a short, get the short end of the stick when it comes to the money they make. But it's a dirty business, man, that Dana's running, and it's hard. And I mean, sometimes when you start to see these guys lose 2, 3, 4 fights, you're like, man, they just don't have it anymore. And it's, it's killing my show. And right now I feel like UFC probably it's about as low as it's been in a while. And you probably know that to be true too. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that, I just think that the matchups that they have just aren't as entertaining as they were a couple years ago, and it's sad to say that, because there are some entertaining fighters still out there. I just think he's got to put them in the right places to generate the business that he wants.
It's this new ESPN, the ESPN deal that they have with ESPN Plus. It's the new deal. That's what happened. Dana doesn't really care about the fights. He just cares about putting on fights. Like, as long as he's
going to get his money regardless.
He's getting the money already. Like ESPN is paying him. So he doesn't even care who's on the card, really. He doesn't have to make it a crazy card. And he doesn't have to pay these people what they want to get paid, because as long as he puts a card on, he's going to get what he was going to get either way. He's losing. I mean, he's not going to lose core fans, but he's going to be losing a lot of like the regular fans that were just watching for the Conor McGregor fights, or, just the Izzy fights, or whoever you would say is like the Khabib fights. Like he's not even gonna fight, but apparently he is gonna fight because Dana's gonna throw every dollar he can at him to get him to fight GSP, which we could talk about at the end too. GSP coming. I mean, that's a big rumor. That's the only reason why Khabib would come back.
I think that's the only fight he would come back for. He's got nothing to prove with Conor. He's already beaten Conor.
He said he can give him $100 billion. He wouldn't fight Conor. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Conor's not the one. And even GSP, I think, when GSP came back and fought Bisping, I think, isn't that who he came back and fought for the little title for his comeback after
he got the 185 title from Bisping?
Yeah, it was like, I don't know if I'd want to see that though. You know what I'm saying? Because Khabib versus GSP. I mean, Khabib in his prime versus GSP in his prime would be a great matchup, and you know that. Like, I mean, that would have been a great fight. I just don't think GSP's in his prime now at this point, so it's kind of hard to say that. You know what I'm saying? That it's like that. So hold on a second. I'm gonna post some comments that are coming up. My boy Steve Snyder, great show, bro. Missed that laugh. Keep it going and congrats. Appreciate you, Steve, man. Keep watching, buddy. Keep leaving comments. I'll put you up. I'll shout you out. It's one of my homeboys from when I was growing up. Really appreciate that, dude. My boy Carlos Fossey from the Frick Frack Patty Whack. I'm surprised it's even survived this long. It's kind of started as a fad. Everyone was all about MMA, and he just happened to make the right context. He's made his money. He's more about the deals now. I'm sure he cares about his fighters, but the money is top priority. He's all business. That's true. I mean, I believe that, Carlos, and I say that a lot because I feel like that Dana, you know what I'm saying, is just about the business. I don't think he's truly looking out for the fighters. You know, when they've talked in the past about fighters trying to make a union.
Yeah.
And, trying to protect themselves and get insurance and do all those kind of things. As soon as they start talking about that, he cuts them off right away. He fires them right away. He's like, no. You're not going to tell me how I'm going to run my business. I'm going to tell you how you're going to fight and when you're going to fight and how much you're going to make. Like, he's not going to let them start a whole union talk. And that's what's crazy about it, because really what they got to do is they got to get somebody from the outside to kind of help them do that. Somebody who's more of a businessman and able to help them get their money the right way, get them some insurance, get them some pension plan set up for the futures, because fighting is not a long career, and you know that. And the money that they're making isn't very good money, so that they need to invest their money wisely. Most of these guys don't have something to fall back on. They're not going to go and,
famous quote. Fighting is not a career, it's an opportunity. By Dana White.
It's true. It's true. And I believe that. And like I said, I think that's the way he looks at it with them and with the fighters. You know what I mean? He used them as puzzle pieces in the same way, like, and it's weird to say this, but it's in the same way that Vince McMahon does with wrestlers in the WWE. You know what I mean? If they're a draw and they're making him money, then Vince is going to use them. If they start to fall off and the crowd isn't talking about them as much, even a good guy or a bad guy, he has bad guys that people love because they're the best bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And Dana does the same thing with fighters. Like, once fighters aren't being talked about and just aren't being used in the right way, and they're losing fights, he really doesn't want anything to do with you, and he's ready to get rid of you and move on.
Mm-hmm. Well, with his new little stable he's got going, it's like his farm team. He's got the Countdown show, the Contender Series or whatever. So he's got a lot of good fighters coming out of there. They're young fighters, and that's why he's actually getting rid of all these people. He's getting rid of all these old people that are washed up. He's going to have them get thrown around to like Bellator, ONE FC, and IFL, and all these weird little underground leagues. You're going to be seeing all the big UFC stars that used to be the UFC stars on these smaller cards now. It's going to be crazy. I mean, he's going to be letting go everybody you could think of, like big names that you would never think that he would let go. They're going to be getting let go. very soon.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, the next fight on the card, that's that Pereira versus that Chaos Williams guy. And Chaos Williams, every fight, he's been knocking people out in 30 seconds or less. Like, it's first round under a minute. I think his last 3 fights were like 56 seconds altogether. So
yeah, but he was fighting a dude who was a freak, and I know that you've seen that Pereira dude fight, and he's very swift with his feet. He moves his feet around, you know what I'm saying, like a boxer.
That was another experience situation. Chaos Williams has no experience compared.
Not with somebody that moves like that. Not with somebody that moves their feet like that. He's moving his head. He didn't want to open up. Chaos didn't want to open up because he knows that dude starts jumping off the cage and throwing kicks and spinning kicks. And the dude he was fighting was set up to beat somebody like a Chaos Williams. And you know that. Like, that dude's nasty. And he ended up winning the decision because they did a lot of nothing. And you know that. Maybe towards the end of the second round.
I thought he won. I don't know why the other guy was so mad about it. I don't know why Chaos Williams was so mad about it. I thought
he definitely lost that fight.
Yeah, I thought it was 2-1, like 2 rounds to 1. Like, he definitely.
And the one round was a toss up. The first round was
just from aggression, just from the aggression coming forward. You know, but I mean, it wasn't even a clear cut round, so he could have lost all 3 rounds. I don't know why he was so upset. Like, his corner was telling him that he's got it. Like, it was his corner's fault. I think his corner was lying to him, saying that he was winning the rounds. But Pereira, is that how you say his name? I hate it when I try to say these people.
I want to say it's like Barea or something like that, wasn't it? I don't
they
know.
say like
Michel Barea or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, he's really good. He's just one of those. Who's the other guy that did the worm and messed his shoulder up? He's like
yeah,
he's
but I know.
guys. You know what I mean? Like, he's like really good and stuff against low level competition, but once you put him up against somebody that doesn't play around with that, like movement, all them little feints and stuff, they don't fall for all that. Like, he's going to get taken down. It depends on how good he is on the ground. He is Brazilian, and they're known to have some black belts in jiu-jitsu. So, I mean,
he's a big, strong dude, too. I mean, Chaos was strong looking. That dude would look good. I mean,
how did he make 180, 70 pounds?
Yeah, that dude's huge. That dude's huge.
I don't know how he makes that weight. That's ridiculous. I think he weighed 170, right? That's the 170.
I think that was the fight. I think that's what weight they were fighting at. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is 170.
I might look it up.
185 wouldn't be so ridiculous. At 170, this guy is huge. Nobody's as big as this guy. I don't know. He's a problem if he can get his, technique down and stop doing flips and stuff. He's doing a lot better now that he's not doing flips. He saves it for the last round now. He's getting a little bit smarter. But
let's see. Hold on a second right here. It don't say the weight class though.
It's 170.
Oh, welterweight. Yeah, welterweight. Yeah, it's at 170.
It's definitely 170 because 185, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's crazy. But for 170, he's huge. He's huge. He looks like he should be fighting at 185, which he's got to move up soon. Like, there's no way this guy. He's 27 supposedly. I don't believe it though. You got to check birth certificates on that guy. He's definitely doesn't look 27 now. He looks like he's in his 30s at least. But
he probably is in his 30s.
He reminds me the way he dances and everything. That Adam Sandler movie, the Guru one or whatever, the one where he's the that spy type guy where he.
What was that one? What was that? Don't mess with the Zohan.
Yeah. He reminds me. You know what I mean? Like how he dances and stuff.
You're funny.
I don't know.
Your boy, that guy's on. That guy saying Herbal, giving you a shout out.
What up? You got that guy in here.
Yeah, that guy.
SHP. I know.
La familia.
But what up? I don't know if you have anything else you want to bring up on that one.
No, I mean, I think that the future is going to be something to watch with that Michel Barea dude. I think that he's going to be fun for sure. Let me see what his name was again. Yeah, it was Pereira.
Michel
Michel Pereira. Yeah, Pereira. Yeah.
He's got that Michelle too.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, definitely, you know, entertaining guy to watch. I think he's very fun to watch. Because you don't see guys that size be able to move like he moves, you know what I mean? And I think that that's fun for the spectators of the sport. I think that he was slow to that because he wasn't trying to get caught by a punch by Chaos either, though. He knew Chaos dropped him bombs.
Yeah, he
And I think he was trying to play it smart and stay away from that just in case. Homeboy unloaded one on him. He didn't want to be there for it. So
yeah.
So I mean, that's what it is. Yeah, I think he's entertaining. I think he'll be fun to watch in the future. And we'll see where you know the mid 30-something-year-old Michelle Pereira goes from here.
He's 27.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he could do some big things. Like he's still kind of young if he is 27. So.
Oh, if he is 27, he's gonna be around for a long time.
They just need to put him up against these lower ranked guys first for a little bit, like a couple more times, a few more times before you want to move him into the top 10, top 15. You don't want to rush people like that because I don't know. He's definitely been fighting for a while, but he's fought at lower competition levels, and he was just beating up people. He wasn't really fighting people that were real fighters. He was just fighting people that did it on the weekends and they had a real job working at 99 Fridays and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So now that he's fighting professionals, it's going to be a lot different.
I think they did that so that he could show off this little bouncing around shit that he was doing and, make it entertaining for the people because, like I said, you don't see guys that size be able to move around like that. They found some guys that were going to take those shots and let them do that. And now
you say those guys that size, he's only 100. He cuts down to 170 pounds.
Yeah, but the dude looks like he walks around at least at like 205, 210.
Right? Like, how does he do that?
And I'm willing to bet you he weighed in Friday at 170, and he was probably back up to 190, 195 by fight time Saturday night.
He doesn't even look that small when he's weighing in. That's my problem. I'm looking at him on the scale, and I'm like, that's not a 170-pound human. This person is not weighing in at 100. And then he does, and it's like, how did he do that? It doesn't look like it. He doesn't even look like he loses that much mass when he weighs in. And then the next day, he does blimp out, but I don't know. He's a freak. Yeah,
for sure.
The next guy's my Sean O'Malley killer. Kind of mad at him.
Oh, yeah, Chito. But you know what, though, and we haven't talked about the Sean O'Malley thing, but we'll get into it a little bit about because of the fact that we're going to talk about this dude now.
That was messed up, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think that Sean got hurt early in the fight and just homeboy took advantage of it. You know what I mean? I don't think it was based on skill alone. You know that. I know you're a big
calf kick. That's a big thing coming out now in MMA. This lower calf kick is hurting people quick. He got caught with a lower calf kick, and it like Sean Mendez, and it happened to a few people. Like they got Cejudo, he got hit, and his foot goes out, and you just like it looks like your ankle's broken. You know, like they're stumbling around in the ring, their toe is hitting the canvas, and they're tripping themselves, and it looks freaky. But then it goes away. So if O'Malley got out of that round, I think he could have possibly beat him. But we'll not even talk about that because it's over. He lost, but. It was just one of those freak things because he said he was good like after the fight, so I don't know.
He obviously wasn't that good because he was he was willing to succumb to Chito being all over his ass and I think Chito got a little bit of the same kind of taste of his own medicine last night fighting somebody like Jose Aldo because Jose Aldo, and you and I know this, and we talked about this, he used to be the king of leg kicks. So if you think that you're going to sit in there and leg kick a leg kicker, he's going to check your shit and he's going to make you hurt yourself by kicking a baseball.
A la Uriah Faber.
Yes.
Yo, he made Uriah Faber's leg look disgustingly purple, and it was nasty. Like He is nasty. He's one of the best leg kickers, and he looks huge at 135. Like, huge. He is ripped too. He's just like he's like the Piera of that division right now. He is a tank. It's just, can he do it to the champion right now? Probably not. Can he beat the up and comers and stop those people still? I think he can. Obviously, he just stopped this guy. This guy's on the rise. I think they put him in with Aldo way too early. I don't know what they were thinking. Sean O'Malley to Jose Aldo. That's crazy. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe and maybe that's on the horizon for Sean O'Malley. You know what I mean? Because I think that, like, you and I talked about it. I don't think that the Sean O'Malley win was a huge win. I think O'Malley was hurt and kind of got caught by surprise, and then got taken down. You know what I mean? Got hit with a good shot. Got hit with some elbows when he was down, and then that was the fight. You know what I mean? And then. But go ahead.
They'll rematch it.
Oh, for sure, and that's a definite rematch. That'll be a good one. And I don't know if Sean will let him, do what he did last time. So it's gonna be good to watch that rematch. I was glad he didn't get through Jose because I did want to see the rematch with him and Sugar Sean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he lost. He might fall back a little bit and have to fight somebody like Sean O'Malley again. So
yeah.
That would definitely.
But if he wins, then he starts moving up into the rankings. And I don't know if he's ready for that yet. I mean, he was on a winning streak leading up to that, but I don't think he was.
What was he ranked? What was he ranked?
Was he ranked?
Wasn't Aldo ranked like number 7 or something? I was watching it. I saw like some ranking. He was like pretty high up on the ranking. I was like,
they're not showing the rankings on the card I'm looking at. Like, they're not showing those.
Farah would have jumped a lot.
Yes.
Farah wasn't even in the top 10, I don't think. I think he was number 13 or 14 or something like that. And O'Malley was right around the same thing with him.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, and that's what, when you get a shot at a Jose Aldo, you got to make the best of it. Jose was down on himself after that Conor McGregor fight, and that was the time to take advantage of Jose Aldo. And some guys did. And now he's got a reborn confidence in himself. Knows that he's
a gatekeeper, though. It's kind of messed up. They're making him fight like up and comers to get a name off of him.
That's okay.
So that they can let Aldo go and let the guy that beat him like build his name up off of Aldo. That's kind of what they're trying to do. That's what they would put Vera against him for, like just to try to build Vera. Vera had a little bit of a push because he just beat Sean O'Malley, and now he's been on ESPN. He's been on all the little MMA shows. People are looking at him now. His Instagram's starting to get popping. So he's definitely somebody that people are looking at now. And then they try to put him up against Aldo, and it was just too much, too fast.
Sorry, I keep looking up because I'm watching the Browns game and the Giants game at the same time that we're talking because as you can see, I'm always representing Cleveland. And didn't want to miss the game during the broadcast, but the broadcast was set for Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And it just so happens that my Brownies are playing too. So trying to catch both at the same time that we're talking. So don't mind if I peek up at the screen every once in a while, but I'm always listening to you, dude.
No, you're good. No, that's pretty much all I got to say about Aldo and Vera.
All right, go ahead and get into the main event.
Wonder Boy.
Yeah, talk about Wonder Boy and who he matched up against, and then tell me what your thoughts on that fight were.
Yeah, Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson versus Jeff Neal. I believe his first name's Jeff. It was another case of too much too soon. Jeff Neal, he's an up and comer. He just came off that show I was telling you about, that Contender Series. So he's been fighting a little bit of lower level people, and he's been beating them. And they tried putting him up against a higher ranked, older fighter, try to build a name off of, and it didn't work out again. So it was 2 fights in a row where they tried getting these up and comers versus the out the door type of people, and it didn't happen. So, which is good because Wonder Boy, he's not been having the best luck, and he definitely needed that. So, I mean, good for him.
I thought it was a boring fight. I know that they got bumped into the main card because of who they were supposed to have fight ended up having a positive COVID test, and Wonderboy Thompson, and it's sad to say this because a couple years ago, Wonderboy Thompson was so fun to watch because he was one of those guys that was, hitting those spinning kicks and kicking and punching and doing all those things, and then he got caught, and then he got caught again.
Yeah.
He got caught by Tyron Woodley, and then Anthony Pettis, was able to punch him off the cage, you know what I'm saying, and knock him out, and that really damaged Wonder Boy's status, and that. Like, you and I watched him be up here, and then he lost to Tyron, it came down, and then after the Anthony Pettis loss, it really dropped him quite a bit, and so yeah, to watch this fight last night, I mean, it was okay, it was entertaining. I was kind of disappointed that it was the main event because it wasn't an entertaining main event. I thought he tried to play it smart and stay away from that dude, from Jeff Neal, I think was his name, Jeff Neal or something like that.
Yeah,
he did enough to win. He was flashing, he was kicking, he was moving around, trying to stay away from the guy. Wasn't trying to punish him the way Stephen Thompson used to punish people.
He would ask him if he was okay after he would hit him. He's like, "Are you okay?" Like, he hit the guy, and the guy like went to turn away for a second, and he was burping a lot. Jeff Neal was burping a lot. I don't know what that was going on, but even after Wonder Boy hit him with a good one, and like he kind of like stumbled and went to turn around, like, and he like went like this to his face. Wonder Boy was like, "Are you good?" Instead of trying to hit him again or throw a high kick at his face while he was going like this, he was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "What are you doing? Knock him out." He's too nice. He doesn't have a killer instinct. He
is a nice guy.
And the reason why everybody like fell in love with him is the fact that he was knocking everybody out. But those people who were like not as high in the rankings as these people, that's why he was fighting like bums and he was knocking them out. He wasn't really knocking anybody crazy out. So I mean, who did he beat? That was like the best one that he beat, that didn't fall off instantly after that fight.
Well, that's the thing, is that he was fighting a bunch of nobodies to get up to it, and then
as soon as he fought Tyron Woodley, he got dominated.
Yeah, it was pretty much a wrap then at that point.
That was probably the most boring fight I've ever seen. Like Woodley and Thompson, that was horrible. Both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, both of those were kind of, and I thought that was going to be the end of Tyron Woodley's career too. But Tyron kind of, kept pushing and was able to fight some more, and it was good. I mean, I wasn't too satisfied with the card last night. I know you and I were hoping it was going to be more because it was going to give us more to chat about. Luckily, you and I can, we can talk about the phone book, and we'll, be able to rattle for what 48 minutes. You know what I'm saying? We can pull names out of the phone book and chat about it and talk about stuff. So that's the good thing. It wasn't an entertaining card. I know earlier in the week you and I had talked. And are you okay with passing the UFC card from yesterday and we move on now?
Yeah, I mean, did you want to talk about the people that left?
Yes. That's what I want to talk about now. Like if we can now move forward into who's left, where some people have signed, where they're going, and then what you think, the future holds for some of them, and I'll tell you what I think.
Well, the big one was everybody thought was going to be the big news was Yoel Romero going to Bellator. Because Bellator just got done saying that they're not going to sign UFC's older fighters. They wanted to get away from that, rebrand their thing so that they're not the place where UFC's graveyard goes or whatever they called it. So that was kind of the big news. And then all of a sudden, like a bombshell dropped. Same weight class. They're gonna both fight in the same weight class, 205. Yoel's going up to 205, and then you got Rumble Johnson, not in the UFC. He's going to Bellator, gonna destroy everybody there. I mean, not a single person in there is gonna do anything with Rumble Johnson. The best chance you got is Corey Anderson, and that's if he can take Rumble down like DC did. Which
Well, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to Rumble. You got to take him down and smother him.
There's nobody else
he was able to do to him.
There's nobody else in Bellator. He will dominate Bellator, which is why I think he signed there, because he knew he's towards the end of his career. He could probably do some damage in the UFC right now in the 205, but he figured he could just dominate everybody, get a belt, and retire like a champion of a organization. So he picked Bellator, which is cool. We get to watch some really crazy knockouts. People are probably going to lose their head. You might see a death. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. And then Yoel, it's cool that they're both going to be fighting in the same weight class, because then you'll be able to see them fight. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be a big draw or not, like a 44-year-old Yoel Romero or a 50-year-old, I don't know how old he is, versus Rumble Johnson.
I think he's as old as me, like 43 years old. But I mean, I wouldn't have been fighting still at this point. But he's a freak. I mean, let's be honest. Yoel Romero doesn't look like he's a day past 32, and I think he's been, 32 for 11 years now. So he's definitely a freak of nature. Great athlete. He's always been put in at the top of the line. I was reading something this week about the fact that he wanted to continue to always fight at the top level, and because of the fact that he had lost 4 in a row, I think by this point, by the time he lost to Adesanya back in February, I think, or maybe March, that was 4 losses in a row for Yoel Romero, and they were looking to then at that point, start to push him back a little bit. He was still looking to move forward. He wanted like maybe 2 or 3 fights, and then go back for the title again. But that wasn't the way UFC was seeing it. He was calling them, asking them, telling them what he wanted, and they weren't responding. They were just like, yeah, we don't know, dude. And he kind of saw the writing on the wall, knew that it was going to not go his way as far as what he was thinking he was going to be able to do as far as getting those 1-2 fights and then getting to the championship again, because they didn't want to have him fighting for a title at 45 years old, and what does that say then about UFC at 205 that their 205 pound champion is a 45-year-old, man, I mean, that's saying that these younger kids aren't preparing the way they should. I think that, what you said about Rumble Johnson is huge. Rumble Johnson is a killer. He will go to Bellator and devastate people. But then again, it's been a long time since I've seen Rumble, so I don't know if Rumble's focus is still there. I'm hoping it is, so that when I do tune into Bellator and get to watch him fight, that it's going to still be some entertaining Rumble Johnson fights, because he's always been entertaining, always been somebody scary to watch. Did see him get humbled by a few characters, but it was it was wrestlers, the guys that were going to take him down and hold him down and not let him.
Did you hear the rumors with Rumble Johnson?
What's that?
Supposedly, the reason why he went to Bellator and not UFC is because of USADA, and the fact that he was doing a lot of powerlifting, and he was going to have one of those cases where there were going to be those what do they call it, pulsing traces or something like that, and he wasn't going to be able to pass the tests or whatever. And Bellator is not as strict, and they don't have USADA, so that's the rumor I'm hearing, that he kind of was going to have a hard time with USADA, so he picked Bellator.
Well, I mean, Rumble can't be a young guy either, though, right? And he's got to be up there in age. I'm sure if I looked it up, he's got to be in his mid to late 30s, right?
Yeah, still young for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
I mean, light heavyweight too. I mean, light heavyweight, he's in his prime. I think he's in his early 30s. He's like 33, 34,
Okay.
maybe 35. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
so I'm sure he's doing some unconventional ways in training and how to prepare his body and keep his body in shape, and things that you have to do in order to continue to stay at that level and continue to keep pushing. So yeah, I think Bellator is going to be fun to watch.
He's 30,
How old?
36.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. He's got to be mid to late 30s. So 36 sounds about right. And yeah, that's the future for MMA. I think that it's fun. I always love chopping it up with you. You know what I mean? I didn't know if you wanted to get into any NBA or NFL. I know you said you know what I mean. You're like, I'm not too big of an NFL fan.
Wait. We're not going to talk about the freak shows?
Oh, go ahead. Talk to me.
Well, what about Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor? And what about Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather? I mean,
Wow.
Conor McGregor, your girl's a 4.
That's I'm like that one's more likely to happen for sure. Is the Conor or not the Conor the Floyd?
It's happening. It's already signed contract.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That Floyd Logan fight. But I think Floyd's doing that for money. He's not gonna get in there and let that dude beat him up. You know that he don't let nobody beat him up.
Well, can you catch a fly with your hand, Mr. Miyagi? I mean, catch that shit because that's what it's gonna be like. He ain't gonna touch Mayweather. He can swing all he wants. Only way he could get away with it is if the referee let him put him into the corner and tied him up and fucking did some bare knuckle boxing type rules where you can like tie up and hit at the same time. Because there's no way that you're going to be able to catch Floyd Mayweather. People that are his weight class can't even touch him, let alone a heavyweight type guy like somebody that's 195 pounds. Like, there's no possible way somebody that big is going to be able to touch Mayweather. I mean, so it's going to be a ridiculous looking thing because Logan Paul is so much bigger. So it's going to look crazy. And it's going to be entertaining if Mayweather makes it entertaining. But if Mayweather wanted to, he can just dance around him, touch him, like do little pop shots to his stomach and like just back off. Do what he kind of did to the Big Show when he fought in the WWE. You know, he just kind of like threw all these little punches to his stomach type area. That's all he's going to do. He's not going to knock out Logan Paul. He could take TKO him like he did Conor, but he's just going to play with him at first. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous, but
I mean, if Logan Paul was smart, he'd go in there, he'd fight Floyd, and then if Logan Paul really wants to do something, you want to go in there and fight a heavyweight, go fight Mike Tyson. See what happens. Yeah, I tell you what. When I watched that show a couple weeks ago,
what you think?
And I saw Jake Paul knock out Nate Robinson.
It's getting a lot of hate.
Well, I saw Jake Paul knock out poor Nate Robinson, and then I watched, which was truly an exhibition between him and Roy Jones Jr. But I got to say one thing, and if you were watching the fight, you know this to be true. Mike was in great shape though. Like he looked good. His cardio was good. And Roy Jones wasn't. Roy Jones was out of shape. He had no wind. He had no stamina. He was gassed after the first two rounds. And Mike was still sitting in the corner, chilling, not gassing at all.
Mike was ready.
Nothing.
He wanted to go some more when it was over.
Yeah, and he did. It wasn't enough for him.
Yeah, Roy Jones was happy it was over.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if Logan wants to do some, fight Floyd, and then go see the old man, because that'd probably be a big ticket sale for you too. But don't be surprised the old man knocks your head off. So, but with Jake against Conor, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that Jake's foolish. Jake's trying to, like, I seen him trying to call out Dana and say, "Oh, your UFCs ain't doing no good. You need to sign somebody like me to help boost your ratings." And it probably would help boost the ratings because people would love to see this dude get his ass whooped, and you know that to be true.
Hey, I thought he was smart when he was saying he wants to fight Dylan Danis, because that would be a big, because Dylan Danis is friends with Conor McGregor, and that's more of a beatable person in a boxing fight. Obviously not in MMA because he would just choke him out real quick. But in boxing, Jake Paul has a chance against Dana. So that would have been the smart way to go. But him jumping to Conor McGregor is just ridiculous. I mean, he's saying, "Oh, if I got that one knockout punch chance, like knockout chance or whatever he was trying to say, like puncher's chance is what he was saying, then he would like shock the world." I mean, yeah, but I don't see that happening at all.
He never fought nobody who's a fighter.
Yeah,
he fought a basketball player. He fought a YouTube sensation. You know what I mean? He's fought guys that weren't fighters. Like, you get in there and you fight Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is a fighter. He's gonna hurt you. He may let the exhibition go on for a little while, the same way Floyd did with Conor. Like, oh, okay, let's box around. Let's entertain the people. I'm gonna let you swing at me and catch me a few times and hit me up against the ropes, and then at the end, I'm just gonna clap you until the referee stops it. And I think that he'll do that with Jake, just to make it entertaining. And then I think he'll try to stop Jake, though. He's not gonna sit there and play with Jake and just let it go there.
Yeah, I don't see it. If he does fight Jake, it's not going to be good. Jake was talking crazy about his girl, calling her a 4, called him an Irish bitch a couple times. Even his brother was like, "What are you doing?" Like, he was like, he must be on some drugs right now. Like,
oh, for sure.
His brother was on Impulsive talking like crazy about it. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting time. I wonder if they're going to be on the same card, like the Logan and Jake fight.
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't heard anything about that Conor and Jake signing for sure. I know that we talked about like Logan and Floyd signing. Can
you imagine the pay-per-views that would get if they all fought in the same card? Who would be the main event though?
Oh, Floyd for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think Conor?
It's got to be Floyd, man.
I don't think Conor would do it just because of that. I don't think Conor McGregor would be the co-main event.
Well, if they put $100 million in front of him again, he'll be like, okay.
They put the McGregor logo on the ring, and they put the Proper 12 everywhere.
Proper 12 will probably have to. I mean,
it's everywhere now. You notice that?
Yeah, like Proper 12 maybe into it.
Proper 12 is everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't think the McGregor, like Mayweather, won't let that go over what he does. You know what I'm saying?
I was watching some boxing events and they had the Proper 12 all over the ring. I was like, oh shit. Over. And now that's weird how UFC has that all over their ring. Isn't that like a conflict of interest? Like when you got your fighter, and then you got his brand.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. The UFC fighters must be pissed about that one too.
I don't know.
But yeah, all right. I mean, I'll chime in on your little sports talk. What are you going to talk about first? NBA?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about either one. You know, I was going to chat a little bit about Giannis deciding to stay in Milwaukee. He just signed, you know, another deal with them for almost $250,000, $250 million. Sorry, $250 million.
Hey,
and to stay in Milwaukee, and everybody thought he was going to try to go free agency and try to move somewhere else because Milwaukee's not a big market. You know what I mean? The biggest market that they have in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is the Green Bay Packers. Let's be real.
Definitely not basketball.
Not basketball. They do love Giannis. They do love, you know, the freak there, and they do represent for him, and were able to pay him. And obviously they had the ticket to sign what it was that he was looking for. So he took it. And I just want to know what you think about him deciding to stay in Milwaukee. If you think that was a good choice, or maybe he should have looked to move on and go somewhere else and try to pick up with another team.
I don't know. I think it's a safe bet. Like, it's probably safe for him if he goes to a bigger place, like, not saying he would, but like a place like an LA Lakers or like a team that has a lot of spotlight around them 24/7. A lot of players break and they can't handle that kind of pressure. And he might be one of those players, and he might know that. So maybe he wants to stay in a place Like people, like they hide at places like Utah Jazz. Like, you know, you can play for a team like that and nobody will ever know who you are. You have no pressure. You're not even expected to win the championship.
That's
If
true.
you go to a team that's expected to do things and you don't do it, you go to New York Knicks and you tell them, I'm about to bring you some championships finally, and then you don't do it, you get booed out of the
You
league.
get blackballed out. Yeah, for sure.
So maybe that's the case. Maybe he just wants to stay at a smaller place, dominate that team, say, look how good I am compared to all the rest of these people. Maybe. I mean, but
I
he,
mean,
I don't know.
and I think that's true. I think that is why he signed the deal with them. To play it safe, know he was going to get his money, know that he was going to always be the big star at Milwaukee, because, you know, other places were looking to sign him. I know that, you know, Miami was looking to bring him on, and unfortunately with him going to Miami, I don't know if he could outshine Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Buckets is a huge star now in Miami. You know, Dwayne Wade's a big advocate of Jimmy Butler, and I don't know if Giannis would have been able to go there and take all the limelight the way he is in Milwaukee.
I think
I don't think he would go somewhere like New York to play for the Knicks, just because of like what you were saying. I think that sometimes that big city hype, it can break a fool down quick. You know what I mean? New York is unforgiving. They love you when you're giving to them, but if you're not giving to them, they will break your back in half. And I think the only guy who was able to get away with having up and down years was Derek Jeter in New York. You know what I mean? Because Jeter was like the prodigal son to them. Like they loved him. They of course hoped that he was bringing them championships every year, but they didn't, you know what I mean? When he didn't, they weren't upset about it.
That's my problem with the league nowadays. Like back in the day, you would watch, like Jordan would play. What team did he play for?
Chicago.
Exactly. And that's who we played for. Nowadays, what team LeBron play for?
He's played for a couple. Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland again, then the Lakers.
He had to move around a bunch of times and then build a bunch of big teams around him. And then he won a bunch of different championships with a bunch of different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, you'd be somebody like Patrick Ewing. He played for the New York Knicks. You get somebody like
the majority of his career, yeah. I mean, they all like later in their careers, they kind of did the Tom Brady's and the Joe Montanas. You know, Michael did go to Washington. Patrick did go to Orlando late in his career.
Like
but nobody remembers that shit really. Like I know, I remember that because I actually seen Mike in Cleveland when he was playing for the Wizards, and was like salty to see him in this uniform. Like, come on, man! Like I'm glad to be here seeing Mike, but what was that?
What team does Paul Pierce play for?
Oh, but Pierce is retired now.
I know, but what team?
He's considered a Celtic for sure.
Exactly. Like you just. Obviously, they leave at the end because the other team, their team has to build, and they get rid of them so they can like make a bunch of money back, like without having to pay their big superstar, and that's how they leave the teams. That's how it happens. But they stay with their team throughout their career, like all the way through their prime and everything. Then you get these people. That's why LeBron. You get into this little debate of LeBron Jordan. Like, there's no debate. First off, LeBron says he's the GOAT. Jordan doesn't. There's a difference in that. Like, you can't call yourself the GOAT. Somebody else is supposed to say you're the greatest. And him saying, "Oh, I was the greatest of all time," when made that shot in Miami or whatever, and he won the championship or whatever. That's, I don't know. That's crazy. I just wish old school basketball was back. I wish I could like close my eyes and open them and be back in like the 90s, you know. But it's not going to happen. You know, it's hand checks and crybabies every day and flops.
That's the way of it, though. And you know what, though? I mean, I'll tell you, it's not just basketball. The NFL's that way too. You know what I mean? Like they made a whole new line of penalties for guys because of Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Because of the Tom Bradys of the world. And Tom Brady, you know, the people in New England and a lot of people around the country love that dude for what he has done for the game of football, but he also had a lot of rules changed for him in the same way LeBron has. You know what I mean? So it's like if you want to call LeBron out, you got to call Tom Brady out because he was so pity pat about being touched. He didn't want nobody touching him after he threw the ball and shit.
didn't want nobody
He started to
touching
make
him.
all
What
these
are you talking
moves.
about?
What's that?
I didn't want nobody touching him either.
Well, I know where you're at. I know you're a fan of, but you know what I'm saying. You know that I'm a Cleveland boy too, so it's like you talking about LeBron. I got to take a shot back at
I know why you're mad. I know why you're mad. Okay. Yeah.
So
Last 20 years have been great to me.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but now it's looking like it's our time now. I mean, our boys had in the NFL. My boys had a great game on Monday, even though we lost. It was a great game. I don't know if you got to catch it with them versus Baltimore.
No.
Great game. Shootout came down to the end. Lamar, was just able to drive his team down the field and win. And I mean, right now we're up 7-3 against the Giants. It's early in the game. We're gonna see what happens, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. The football's
crazy. Football's crazy.
Once it hits the playoffs, it's just flip a coin on who's going to win most of the time.
Cool.
Hopefully, it's not boring teams because their ratings suck when you get two teams that nobody cares about.
That's true. I mean, hopefully, the bad part is that most of these teams right now are playing pretty well. You know what I mean? It's nothing that we can say that we're watching that isn't good football. You know what I mean? There's a couple of teams, that aren't very fun to watch. But other than that, I mean, for the most part, it's entertaining football again. I'm excited that we have all these sports now to talk about again. And, you and I will continue to talk about them. I'm going to have tons of people on that are sports advocates that are in a bunch of different fields as well. And we're going to sit around and do roundtables and kind of just chat it up. I think, after the new year, I've got quite a few people that are looking to get on after the new year and just are excited to come on and join us because of that fact, because they know we're going to have some people on, Herbs Too Fresh being one of them, that are entertaining guys that are going to be on, that are going to come on and they're going to chop it up, and they're really going to know their business on what we're talking about. And I was awfully happy to be able to get Herbs on tonight. I had shot him a message early in the week because of the fact that I had to bump Timmy up last week to get him on, and Herbs and I had been chopping up about trying to get on and shoot the shit about MMA, because I mean, him and I always have fun doing that, and I appreciate you, dude, being able to come on and do that with me tonight. And us talking about the card last night, I know it wasn't the most entertaining card, but I think that mine and your analysis on that card is always fun to listen to, even if the card itself isn't that fun to watch. And
hour.
What's that?
We talked about the card for an hour.
I know, and that's what's the good thing about it, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you and I can chop it up for hours, and you know that about this kind of stuff, and we're able to do that. And right now, I mean, I'm gonna start to probably get to the end of the show. I'm gonna let you chop it up, tell people about how they can find you throughout your Instagram and your YouTube. I'm going to put you solo on the screen so that you're able to do that. And then really just kind of let you tell it how it is. I'll jump back on with you. Then I'll kick you backstage. I'll do my little outro, my little quote of the day, and we'll wrap up the show. And then you and I can shoot it after. All right, big fella?
Yes, sir.
All right, big guy.
All right, what's going on? It's Herbs Too Fresh on YouTube. You can check me out. It's Lewd Creations. I'm on TikTok now. My girl got me on TikTok. It's Too Fly to Die. I don't know. It's the number 2 fly and then 2 die. That's me on TikTok. I got a lot of Prelude stuff on there. It's mostly my cars, so if you expect to go to TikTok and see me dancing around like a fool, you're not getting that. But besides that, I'm on Instagram too, Herbs Too Fresh, just like it's spelled down here. Just check me out. I got a lot of car stuff now. I had a lot of shoe stuff, switching it up to cars. Got some bike stuff too. So I don't know. That's about it. Just check me out.
All right, Herbs. I appreciate you, man, coming on with me tonight, chopping it up. Like I said,
I haven't ended a show in a minute. Yo, that was awkward. Hold on. Yeah. All right, we're good.
yeah. But, that's how I do. And then, like I said, I appreciate you, man, for coming on, jumping on with me. What I'll do now, like I said, I'll kick you backstage, do my little outro, and then we'll chop it up afterwards, big fella.
All right, boss.
All right, man. Thank you, bro. That's my boy Herbs Too Fresh. God, I appreciate the guy. He's a busy dude. But to be able to get him on and come on and chat with me, I can't, appreciate him anymore because he's very knowledgeable about the sport of MMA. Likes to chop it up about sports. We always have a good time. And I can't be more than happy to have him on because, like I said, he's gonna always come on. He's gonna entertain. He's gonna drop some knowledge on it, and that's what's big because I know a lot of times people aren't always that well versed in MMA. They think that they know a little bit about it, but it's not enough. You listen to a guy like Herbs. Herbs is going to give you some insight into the game and kind of let you know what his thoughts are, and maybe trying to open your mind up and let you see what it is that he's thinking. And that's why it's always a good chat between him and I, because he knows that I know a lot about it as well. And we just have a good time. Appreciate you guys coming out. Checking out the business. Let's Be Real, episode 3. I haven't really promoted it as much as I should. Trying to get you guys to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. And really just appreciate you guys because without you, none of this is possible. So appreciate you all. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe to it. Check it out. And, let me know what you think. And then you guys who want to get on, chop it up with me. If you got some show ideas, let me know. You know what I mean? I'm open to it. I'm willing to listen and kind of continue to do my thing. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my quote of the day, and I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. My quote of the day is, "It isn't where you came from, it's where you're going that counts." I truly believe that. I've been a lot of places. I come from, a little suburb right outside of Cleveland. Love South Lorraine, love what it's given me. Made me the guy that I am today, and truly appreciate where it is that I'm going to go from here, though. I made this show to put myself out there and bring to light some characters that I've met throughout the way. And hope to, continue meeting more characters and having more fun and chopping it up throughout the times. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys. The business, Let's Be Real, episode 3. Over. Out.